This screencast is on how to use proportions to convert between units of measure. So when we're measuring things like liquids or measuring distances or measuring something by its weight, there are different ways of measuring. So you could use, for example, you could measure something in liters, like a 2-liter bottle of soda, or you can measure things in quarts and gallons, like milk is in gallons. So there's different ways of measuring, and so they have different names, and you have to be able to convert between them. Same thing with measuring distance, right? You can measure in inches and feet, or you can measure things in centimeters and meters, and so we have to be able to convert between those measurements. So what it's asking you to do here in number 1, it says convert 6.85 quarts to liters. So something, the volume is 6.85 quarts. It's one way to measure it, but what would that be if we were measuring in liters? So in order to do that, I'm going to set up a proportion. And there's more than one way to set this up, so I'm just going to do the way that makes sense to me, and hopefully that makes sense to you. I'm going to start by figuring out what I want to know. So what I want to know is, I want to know how many liters. So I'm looking for the number of liters. How many liters equal 6.85 quarts? So I can set it up like that. Now I'm going to go up to the conversion chart because this doesn't make any sense if I don't know this. So that's what this chart's for you. I go up here and I see that 1.06 quarts is 1 liter. So in my proportion, I'm going to put 1 liter, and down here 1.06 quarts. Then I'm going to draw my arrow towards what I don't know, and I'm going to find the scale factor. So I divided 6.85 by 1.06. I don't think you can't see that, but I did. And my scale factor was something kind of ugly, so I'm going to hit second fraction. And then I get even like the fraction, you can't see it either, I guess, but the fraction is even ugly. 6 and 49 over 106. That's because we're dividing these decimals, and so no matter how you swing it, the answer is not that great. It's pretty ugly. So I'm going to put it in like this and multiply the top by 6 and 49 over 106. And I'm going to get 6 and 49 over 106. But liters is something that you measure in decimals. So if I go back to my calculator, I realize that, I can see it, I'm just going to use that decimal as my answer because liters is something that you measure in the metric system, so it should be measured in decimals, not fractions. So I'm going to estimate it to be about 6.46. So that's about 6.46 liters. Now don't get all excited and see this 46 up here and think, oh, so it's just the numerator. That's a coincidence. Okay? That's just because of the way it is. But here's your answer. So about 6.46 liters. I'm going to state the problem here for number 2, and then I will go over how to find the answer. So we're going to convert 9.85 liters, L means liters, to gallons. So I need to find where that is on here. So did you find it yet, where I have liters and gallons side by side? It's going to scan up. There it is, right here. 1 gallon is 3.78 liters. So when I make my proportion, I'm going to start with what I want to know. I'm going to put up here gallons. That's what I'm trying to find. And I could have just put G. And I'm trying to find how many gallons is 9.85 liters And now I go back to my conversion chart, and I'm going to fill in these numbers. 3.78 goes with the liters, and up here is 1 gallon. So now I draw my arrow towards what I don't know, and I find the scale factor. And it's a weird looking decimal again, and if you change it to a fraction, it's a weird looking fraction also. So I'm just going to use the decimal. 582, and then there's more, so times 2.60582. That means about 2.61 gallons. Okay, so let's try to do, down here, how many ounces are in 10.5 pounds? So we'll jump to this one. So I'm going to set up my proportion, and I'm trying to find how many ounces, question mark, are in 10.5 pounds. So the question is ounces. I don't want to use O for ounces. I'm going to use N because O looks like a 0. In 10.5 pounds, LB. So LB is pounds. Now I have to find, up at the top here, pounds and ounces are weight. So I'm looking at mass, a conversion between pounds and ounces. And that's the first one, that 1 pound is 16 ounces. So I'm going to go up here, so I'm going to say, I'm going to put in 1 pound next to the pounds, and 16 ounces. Draw my arrow towards what I don't know. Find the scale factor, which is 10.5. Then multiply the numerator by 10.5. And you would get 168 ounces. And that makes sense because a pound is bigger than an ounce, so it should be more ounces. So that makes sense. And then I'll do number 7 with you, and you can try the other ones then on your own. So the moon is 238,000 miles from the Earth. What is the distance in kilometers? So we're going to find this distance in kilometers. So the question mark is kilometers. Now, I'm actually going to set this one up differently because I want to show you that we could have actually done the other 3 set up differently and still gotten the right answer. So I'm going to show you that one time with this one. And I'm going to show you that I'm trying to find out how many kilometers, get the right number, 238,700 miles. I want to know that would equal how many kilometers. So I want to know this number here in miles equals how many kilometers. I know up here at the top I can find a conversion between kilometers and miles. There it is, 1 mile and 1.61 kilometers. So I could set it up like this. I could write 1 mile equals 1.61 kilometers. So we could have set it up so that the conversion facts were side by side, and now the miles are with the miles in the same ratio, and the kilometers are with the kilometers in the same ratio. So you can actually set it up so that like here, ounces are side by side, and the conversion fact is a ratio. Or you can do conversion fact is side by side, and the 2 that are the same label are in the same ratio. Both of those things work, so either way. I'm going to try it this way just this time and see that my conversion is my scale factor, that I multiply the miles times 1.61 to get the kilometers. So I'm going to multiply 238,700 by 1 61/100ths to get the kilometers. And I get 384,3007. And that makes sense because a mile is actually bigger than a kilometer, so it would take more kilometers. Think about like a 5K is like 3 miles, so your kilometers will always be bigger than your miles. So this makes sense. This is kilometers, or kilometers, as some people say. So there's my answer. So we just did 4 problems together, numbers 1, 2, 5, and 7. So hopefully that helps you when setting up the other problems. Use your facts and your proportions and you should be fine. Thanks.